Welcome back, aspiring Legion Tamers! It's time for lesson number 1 in the combat series. Now, before we begin, I'm going to make some disclaimers about how much of the basics I'll be covering in this series. I'm not going to spend much time at all going over the controls. I'm going to assume you went through the tutorials provided in the training center at Neuron headquarters. If not, and you're wondering which buttons do what, please go start with those and get comfortable with the controls. The tutorials do a good job covering the basics there, and I don't want to retread ground that it already covers well enough. With that said though, I want to start first with what I have known for a long time was going to be my number 1 tip. Get away from casual mode and play on PT standard ASAP. As I stated in my introductory video, I believe casual mode is insufficiently challenging to push you to learn the nuances of the combat. PT Standard is the highest difficulty the game allows you to select for chapters you have not yet completed, and I highly recommend switching to that mode as soon as you can. It's a shame they don't allow you to start in PT Ultimate, the ultimate way to play this game. See what I did there? But what have you. Now, while this is my highly recommended first tip, you can do what you like and still learn the beauty of the combat if you stick around. But really, PT Standard for the win. Alright, I'll get off my soapbox now and get to the good stuff. With all of that out of the way, I wanted to start with what I think is the single most important thing to get comfortable with in this game. Sync attacks. Sync attacks are the bread and butter of Astral Chain's combat, and they are what change you from that boring 4-hit combo broken record you saw in the introductory video in this series. My goal then is to get you familiarized with how to trigger sync attacks, what the signal is, and why they're so powerful. Now, do you see that flash of light right there, accompanied by that shing sound? That is the signal of a sync chance. If you press ZL at the moment this signal appears, you will trigger a sync attack. Like so. Now that particular sync attack was triggered by what is called a perfect call, when you call your Legion with the ZL button right before an attack is going to land. Here's a few more examples. These are very powerful, and one of the greatest benefits you get from them is that you are granted invincibility frames, or iframes, upon startup. And then you get the sync attack chance, which leads to some pretty awesome combos, as you can see. There are many other ways to trigger a sync chance, though. Sync chances trigger at the end of a ZR combo, or when inputting an attack command, more on that later, when executing a perfect dodge, as you're seeing here, which is another one of the most powerful ways to trigger sync chances, and even when getting launched, making it possible to bounce back and avoid fall damage. And more besides, as you'll see as we go along. I believe I've made my case here on why sync attacks are something you should become very comfortable with, and I hope I've given you a good idea of what you can do to trigger them. There are many other ways to spice up the combat, but this is absolutely the most foundational skill you can develop when playing this game. They're very powerful, they serve as excellent attack disruptors and counterattacks, and they're just so blasted flashy that sometimes the most fun you get from this game is feeling like a boss when you execute them skillfully. So, as homework, funnest homework you'll ever do, I would highly recommend going into the combat simulator, taking on a tough enemy, and going to town with practicing your sync attack triggers. Perfect dodges and combo end sync chances should be a good starting point. Perfect calls too, but don't forget, you can't do them unless you've unlocked them on the skill tree. Fair warning. Anyhow, that will conclude my tutorial on sync attacks. Now, go have fun, and see you in the next tutorial. And if you like this content, please like and subscribe. It helps a ton. And until next time, keep it nerdy.